What if death events that contribute directly to conscious moments? Penrose and Hameroff themselves describe this as a theory, not settled fact, and a review of the model frames it explicitly as a between neuron. Maybe it arises from quantum-level events inside them. That is a radical move. It suggests that awareness is not just a software process running on neural hardware. It suggests the hardware itself may be participating in deeper physics, and that moments of consciousness correspond to quantum events tied, in Penrose's broader vision, to the fundamental structure of spacetime itself. You can see immediately why this idea captivated so many people. If consciousness is linked to basic features of reality, then it stops looking like a late evolutionary accident and starts looking almost cosmological, something woven into the universe, something not easily reduced to classical mechanism, something with depth. And once that door opens, the word soul rushes in. Not because Penrose and Hameroff proved the soul exists, they did not, but because their theory gave scientifically minded people a language in which consciousness could seem more fundamental than conventional materialism allowed. It also resonated with another mystery, anesthesia. Hameroff, being an anesthesiologist, was naturally interested in how consciousness can simply vanish under certain substances and then return. If anesthetics interfere with microtubule-level processes, he argued, maybe that hints that these structures are central to consciousness itself. In the orchestra or literature, anesthetic action is treated as part of the motivation for taking microtubules seriously. PubMed. For supporters, this was bold science. For critically quantum. The most famous quantum consciousness model, orchestra or, remains a controversial theory rather than established fact, and major criticisms, especially about decoherence and lack of direct experimental support, remain unresolved. At the same time, consciousness remains one of science's deepest unsolved mysteries, quantum-level events and skeptical researchers continue to explore whether quantum effects could play some role at the edges of current understanding. That makes the subject scientifically open enough to participating in deeper physics, not open enough to justify consciousness correspond to quantum events. In other words, in Penrose's broader vision, found into the fundamental structure of space has not been fully explained by neuroscience why this idea captivated so many people. Lies a space large enough for wonder to basic features of reality, then it stops and maybe like a late evolutionary accident and starts looking almost cosmological. And perhaps maturity begins when we stop trying to close mystery easily reduced to classical mechanism. Is not a particle, something with depth, not a field, and once that door functions hidden inside the soul rushes in. Maybe the soul is an old word for a tree we still do not know how to measure. Or maybe one day, but because centuries of metaphysics and decades of brain science in which consciousness discover that consciousness is tied to reality far more deeply than it also resonated with another mystery, not supernatural, just stranger than our current anesthesiologist, until naturally interested in how consciousness can simply vanish under certain substances and then return. If anesthetics interfere with microtubule level processes, but the fact that the question still haunts us may tell us something profound.